Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Here we are, Yom Shlishi, and we are going to conclude this section on Yayin Mashkos Goyim. Very interesting study, certainly much different than what we've been covering in the last number of months, and I think that for the next few days we'll switch to Minyane Diyoma on Hilchos Chanukah. I thought I had done that, but I had not. I just checked back and just realizing that when we hit February 14th, 25, it'll actually be 3 years since we started this. Really interesting, 3 years. And right now, just to give you an idea, this is episode number 433, 433. Wow. But in the meantime, let's continue davening for Chaylei Tzvah Gnei Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol Petzuei Yisrael, and a safe return of our hostages, Lila Nishmat Seren, Daniel Shimon Arav Durim V'Shel Yisham Kadamo. So let's finish up this chapter about drinking wine, alcohol, in a circumstance that could create kalas rosh. Amnam yesh b'yam gam tzad tov. Drinking wine is not all bad. There's also a good side of it. Shu yachol aseis bitul simcha mitis, because this can give an expression to true simcha. Hu k'vi shenemar beperek ha'odol Hashem, shebachlal ha'tova shenasat Hashem l'adam nasan gam aseh yayin. When we talk about giving thanks to Hashem, that included in all the goodness that Hashem gave, we also gave us yayin. Shenemar barchi nafshi es Hashem v'yayin yisamach levav enosh. The parak that we say on Rosh Chodesh and barchi nafshi, we also talk about yayin, how it can gladden the heart of mankind. V'amar chachamim in the Gemara and Bracha says, "Ein omrim shira el al hayayin." We only say shira, sing song, when it's on wine or with wine. Therefore, all major events, we have wine. Kiddush on Shabbos and Yontif, weddings, a bris. The Zohar teaches us that holiness and blessing only comes about with wine. So there's a differentiation between drinking and rejoicing when it pertains to a mitzvah versus just mundane. And the Gemara in Shabbos tells us in Daf Lamed Amud Beis, the proper simcha we should attain and strive for is that of a mitzvah, shene'emar, v'shibachti ani es simcha asher ein tov la'adam tachas hashemesh, ki im lecho v'lishtos v'lismach v'hu yilvena ba'amalo yemei chayav, asher nasan lo ha'elokim tachas hashemesh. Pasuk in Koheles, in the 8th chapter of Koheles, where Koheles praises the type of simcha which is, of course, for a mitzvah. We have to be careful and be wary of simcha that is not for mitzvah purposes, because also in Koheles it says, Lischok amarti mehalal l'simcha mazos osa. Mipnei sheschok zem halal haine me'ura bebechi ve'anacha v'simcha zu sofa tuga. Rashi explains there that when you have a certain type of simcha, what did you do? Because if the schok, if the lightheartedness, if the happiness that you're trying to achieve is also, it says it becomes mixed with bechi anacha, with sadness, with sort of depression, then it's going to take that simcha down. And when you drink and you have this sort of mundane simcha, and it's in a group, it actually takes it down a level, and this is considered moshav leitzim, because it says leitz hayayin romesh shechar v'chol shegebo lo yechkam. Pasuk Mishlei says that person who is sort of lazy, but meaning that you just waste time with wine and alcohol, then you won't become wise. So Rabbeinu Yonah explains there in the Shari Tshuva, mishte hayayin gorem l'shlosh devar marm. People drink wine, it causes 3 bad things to happen. Lios ish mitzlot seitz, a person can become a leitz, he can become a scorner. Lios home obal devarim, v'amr zal v'chol amar b'dvar mebechet, a person can speak too much, maybe say things you're not supposed to, and a person who says too much will bring about chet, sin. And finally, v'chol shogeh b'lo yachkam, as the pasuk says, that a person will take away wisdom. Chazal also paskin halacha. It's a very not well-known halacha that a person cannot drink wine while music is playing, or perhaps you should say more accurately, you shouldn't sing or drink or play instruments while you're drinking wine. But only if you're involved in a mitzvah. So if let's say you're at a wedding and there's Simchas Chasam V'Kala, then you can have a drink. But if it's just playing music, then one shouldn't drink during that. Then that's a halach in Shulchan Aruch and Aruch Chaim Taf Kuf Samach Halacha Gimel, and in the note he brings quite a few more instances of this. So lefichach, let's speak practically. Ein lishtos b'moadonim misibos chaverim ba'avira chilonit. We shouldn't just drink in friendly gatherings if they're completely secular. Shahnigra achar shtia kazu alol yisrachik mitor mitzvos lagil de'avera, because this types of drinking will take a person further away from Torah and mitzvahs and perhaps cause avera. Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says one should distance oneself from a wicked neighbor and don't connect yourself to a rasha. And it's possible that those who drink, and yes, pabim is the plural of pubs. So if you drink in a pub or in these types of gatherings, in a bar, whatever it might be, with lightheadedness, meaning without seriousness, perhaps they act like righteous people in other arenas. And perhaps maybe you can join with them in those gatherings. But if you're sitting in the pub, and this is where people drink, and they kind of let loose, then this shows the negative side, separating from Torah and from mitzvos, and then they become not good friends, but bad friends, that can cause you to separate from the way of Torah and mitzvos. The very first chapter of Tehillim, we praise the person that does not go through the counsel of the wicked, but does not walk in the ways of the sinners, and does not join a moshav leitzim. Chachamim explain the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Shaliyomer Adam Eilech Rak Pamachas L'Mishtel Leitzim. I'll just go one time to this gathering of leitzim. Shim Holech Sof Alamot Sham, because if you go, you're going to end up staying there. V'em Yamod Sof L'Shev Sham L'Yasas Leitz, and if you just say I'm going to stand, I'm not going to sit, you're going to end up sitting, and you'll become a leitz yourself. Leitim Adam Uzman Alidei Makam Avadasol L'Irei Chelini Shemisnahel Ba'avir Shel Kalas Rosters. Let's say, again, let's go back to the holiday party example. You work in a business and they're having a holiday party. Not everyone is Jewish, and you're invited to an event, and this is not, let's say it's taking place in a bar, in a restaurant, something. If it's possible to refrain from going, you should refrain. And if you cannot get out of it, a person should try to refrain from alcohol. Again, very practical, strict laws, but things that we need to know about, which again are all tied into this notion of non-Jewish wine or mixing hisbolos, but also chas v'shalom, getting into a situation where we will forget or become distant from Torah and from mitzvah. So that concludes this section on yayin, non-Jewish wine. Really, really interesting limud. I hope you found that interesting as well, as we did 15 sections on this. And as I said, we'll switch gears a little bit in Yanei Diyoma to Hanukkah, and I'll do that as long as I can. I also have another trip to Israel coming up in right after Hanukkah, so hopefully we'll take the laws of Hanukkah through Hanukkah as much as we can, and we'll have a mini break, and then we will return, God willing, for our 3rd anniversary. But until then, please continue davening for Chayalei Tzvah G'nai Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol Petzua Yisrael, safe return of our hostages. Lili Nishmat, Seren Daniel Shemener of Duram Vasheli Shemikum Damo. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a great day, and we will see you here next time. Take care.